Can You Beat Sonic 3 and Blue Knuckles Part 2. Last time on this challenge, we took a look at the first 6 zones. So now we continue our journey by entirely skipping Mushroom Hill, Flying Battery, and Sandopolis. The reason is just because Sonic and Knuckles take the exact same path. I could not find a single completely different Sonic or Knuckles path. But I'll make it up to you, and you'll see why. But first, let's go through the absolute hellish nightmare that is Lava Reef. Lava Reef is incredibly annoying due to all of the terrain that you cannot climb. There's so much terrain that you can just climb bare minimum or just not climb at all. And this becomes extremely annoying when we get to this part. I tried, and I tried, and I tried, but I cannot hit the stupid button and go to the door. And you're probably wondering, why don't I just go back to the wall and then go to the door? Because the door closes again. So, we have no choice but to make this our first left press of this challenge, aka left or right press number 5. And you might think, oh, we're done. No, we are still not done with this one level, because it shows up again, except this time it's even worse. Oh, look at this. How are you supposed to make it through this? It's without pressing right or left. I mean, hitting the button again, it's easy, but you can't get back to the door because the door is too high up for it to not respawn, if you know what I mean. So we have to make this our 6th left and right press. Thankfully, the rest of the level can be done. But if anyone can find a way to get through these 2, I would love to know. Let's just move on to Act 2.
1 hour later. 2 hours later. 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Okay, Patrick, I'll get on with this since it took forever to get here. Act 2 is possible, but it does have some moments where it is annoying. For example, this part where you have to, where you either have to damage boost your way up or just get enough speed in order to glide up there, and you have to do it twice. And then there's I mean, there's really not that much to say about Lava Reef Act 2. The only thing I can mention is what I mentioned earlier, and this part where you can just glide enough times and then eventually you'll make it. And since we're Knuckles, we get completely skip the boss fight entirely. Let's just move on to Hidden Palace. Welcome to Hidden Palace. There are no places where you need to press right or left. Don't find Knuckles. No foreshadowing. Knuckles doesn't lose the Master Emerald. Hidden Palace is now over. Now here is the part where I make up for skipping Mushroom Hill, Flying Battery, and Sandopolis entirely. Sonic's last 2 levels. Let's start with Sky Sanctuary. Sky Sanctuary is overall a really easy-going level. I really don't have too much to say. Like, there's some places where you can climb and then just zip through the entirety of it. Sky Sanctuary really isn't all too special. I really hate these zones where I don't have really anything else to say, but I don't want myself to get too repetitive, so I had to skip through the. So I can't really go into too much detail about these. But yeah, overall, Sky Sanctuary, it's a really easy level. Now let's move on to the final level, Death Egg. Death Egg is the most infuriating level in this entire run. There are so many places where you can easily get hit. So many of these stupid things where you can get stuck on, and you only have to go on one of them, but it's just easier to avoid them entirely because you never know if you'll just accidentally run into something. There's just so much crap, and these stupid missiles and the stupid electric floor. But those are not what makes us press right or left. It's these exhaust tube things, whatever. Because we have to press right or left in Act 1 twice. Once here, and the other time here. And they're in the same location. So yeah, Death Egg is just really hopeless. The only thing that I actually found kind of funny is where I won this part by just standing around and doing nothing. Yeah, you just stand there and do nothing. But the only reason you'll get stuck is if you're greedy and go for rings. As long as we make it to the boss, it's a win in my book, regardless whether it's impossible or not. Besides, most of these bosses were possible. Most of these bosses were possible without pressing right or left. If you paid attention to part 1, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's just hope Act 2 is more generous. No. No, it isn't. Why would it ever be generous? Because there are two left or right presses. The first one is literally at the beginning of the level where we have to choose right or left. I randomly chose left. And it's extremely annoying. It's so freaking annoying. And guess what? It comes to bite you again. Why? Why does it force it to be in the exhaust tubes and press right or left? Why does this zone hate me? Why does this game hate me? Okay, yeah, it's really annoying. All the problems for Act 1 are present here, except you change gravity. That really doesn't affect things too much. Let's just move on to the boss. The boss is annoying. I want to skip over this boss. Let's just move on to probably the most interesting part of Death Egg, the final boss. Let's do this. Let's start with Phase 1. Phase 1 is where you attack the fingers. As long as you keep spin dashing, everything is perfectly fine. But the second phase is where things get a little interesting. Because thanks to Knuckles' gliding ability, we are able to get through this. Now normally in the second phase, you have to hit his nose and then attack the and then the mouth will open and then attack the laser cannon that has the Master Emerald in it. Now, normally, Sonic would just constantly just go up, but thanks to Knuckles' gliding ability, all we have to do is just wait here, jump and hit the nose, and then glide, but be careful for the fire not to hit you. And because it's actually really easy, and same with Phase 3, like this final boss is really not as hard as I thought it would be. It's easy, but it's also interesting. And now, with that, can you beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Blue Knuckles, without pressing right or left? No, you can't. But let's take a look at Death Egg's score, and let's look at the final results, and enjoy the best ending. Thanks for watching.